What's going on, guys? Slade here. Hopefully you're doing well, and welcome to me jumping on a trend way after it is dead. That being said, Fiverr videos are not only trendy, today they are also necessary, because as you know, all of my videos are getting copyright claimed due to both my intro and outro music being copyrighted material. So today we're going to be messaging composers on Fiverr, asking them to remake or reimagine the intro and outro audio clips that I've been using for the last 6 years, and then we're going to rank them based on our preferences and hopefully use one of them going forward. If you're not aware of what my intro and outro audio used to sound like, I will not be playing it in its entirety for obvious reasons, but my outro sounds a little something like this, and my intro sounds a little something like this. And in that old intro, there is this screaming sound effect that a lot of people will definitely remember, and I was thinking it could be cool to try and recreate that by taking screams from my old uploads and then using that to kind of personalize the new intro. I tossed a message into the Discord that me, Peck, Bear, and Jam hang out in, asking for ideas for which screams I should select. Obviously, there was no shortage of clips for Peck as far as screaming goes, but this portion of him yelling while we were playing Ghosts from a couple years ago is pretty much an exact reinterpretation of the screams from the Pink Floyd song anyways, so let's take a listen to that. Right there.
Oh. What? Dude, fucking...
Jam fortunately had something a little higher pitched in mind and linked me something from a GTA race, and I think that'll complement the intro nicely as well. Ah! I wasn't sure which scream I should use for myself, but then Peck made it pretty obvious that I should have already thought to use the Apex Legends scream that I had when I almost got stepped on by the big monster thing. No, I didn't get a grapple onto the leg. Oh, yo, it was standing on purple armor. That's fucking sick.
Oh yeah, it always stands on.
And obviously, the best Bear scream is whenever he was just having grenades rain down on him in H1Z1.
Don't go.
You're good, you're good, you're good.
You saw another one?
Oh, shit!
Made it!
Get out! Now that we had all of our screams selected, it was time to find our composers on Fiverr. I wanted to have a mixture of skill sets and values for the sake of the video, so I started off with someone who only had 7 previous orders and they were pricing things at around $35, named Ozwaved. After that, I found this Sri Lankan composer named Miranga, who was a multi-instrumentalist, and a lot of his previous work looked pretty interesting to me, so I paid the $40 that he was charging. Next up was this composer named Mix Jones, who has like 2 master's degrees in music composition, and all of his previous work was really good as well, so I went with the $50 package that he was offering. And I know everybody would be mad if there wasn't one semi-expensive one at least, so I went with EVP Productions' $100 package. They have like 700 5-star reviews, so I'm feeling pretty confident about that as well. And so those orders were placed. Every composer received the exact same prompt. They all got both the intro and outro snippet to reference, as well as the folder full of scream files that they could use if they wanted to. And then I said just either recreate or reimagine these clips. And honestly, everybody did it relatively quickly too. The turnaround was just a couple days.
Several days later.
Anyways, now let's listen to them. We'll do the intros first in ascending order of value, and then we'll do the outros. So first off, we have Ozwaved, $35 intro. So I mean, one, it sounds like almost an exact recreation, but just with Peck screaming, which I like a lot. I don't think it could really be more accurate and not be copyright infringement. It might actually be copyright infringement. I don't know. But either way, I think that sounds really good. All right, now we're moving on to $40 with Miranga for the intro. Oh, shit. I like that a lot too. I think it's more original. It doesn't sound like an exact recreation, and I wasn't clear on that either way. I kind of left it up in the air which way they went, but I really like the build and I like the crash. I think it all sounds really nice. I think just, I'm not a huge fan of the way the screams are distributed throughout that one. Mostly because I don't think they are. I think it's like almost the conversation before one of the screams, but Either way, I still think that sounds really good. Next up, we've got Mix Jones at $50 for the intro. Oh man. That one's like got a lot of texture to it. Like it sounds like a bell's getting hit whenever the crash comes in. That's the first time we've heard the screams really mixed. I feel like there's like reverb on them and stuff, and they're actually kind of synced up musically. So, oh man, that sounds really good. I'm really happy with that one, and it's still original too. You know what I mean? It's got, oh gosh, I really like that one a lot. And last, but certainly not least, at $100, we have EVP Productions intro. Okay. It's a lot darker. It's, you know what I mean? It's got a lot more serious tone to it. I like the panning on the screams. It kind of starts in one ear and moves back and forth. That's really interesting. I like the guitar. It all sounds really nice. It's not at all what I expected. You know what I mean? But I don't dislike it at all. It's just a lot like gloomier sounding. I feel like this has like more specific usage than like a all the time intro, if that makes sense. Anyways, we're going back to the top to start the outros with Oz Waved, back at $35. He went like with the straight up recreation, and it sounds good. It's, you know how like hard it is to, if you're trying to redo something and it be compared exactly to the original and it still sound good. Like I feel like credit where credit's due. Like it sounds like a really good cover. So I'm all for it. All right, now we're with Miranga for $40 on the outro. I like that. It kind of had like an awkward start to it, but I really like it. And I like the way it ends. It's really light and happy. And I think I'm maybe only recognizing that as a contrast to that really gloomier intro. But I mean, I don't know if I would use those together. I could see a lot of these working interchangeably though. So I like it a lot. Back to Mix Jones, $50 outro. He's just got it down pat as far as like inspired by the original, still doesn't sound exactly like it, but it still sounds really good. I'm really happy with his stuff. And finally, EVP Productions, $100 outro. this one kind of made me sad. Like, I don't know what's going on here, and it was also really long. So I don't know. It's not a bad thing. They sound really good, but it's just not necessarily the angle I was expecting someone to take with these, given the snippets that I gave for reference. But at the same time, you know, people are going to have different interpretations for sure. But with all that being said, that is all of the clips I have to show you guys. I'd love to hear the order that you think they belong in, which ones are your favorites, what you think about the best, the worst, stuff like that. For me, at the number one spot, I'd have to put Mix Jones because his stuff is original, but it still feels really inspired by the snippets that I sent. In second place, I think I would say Ozwaved because he was able to really accurately recreate the pieces that I sent him, and they feel very similar. In third place, I think I would choose Miranga because his stuff was clearly original, but it felt inspired, but not necessarily the same flavor that I was looking for in my mind. And then last, I would probably put EVP with the $100 as the most expensive one because it was really well made, obviously, and they were lengthier even, but for me, it just wasn't exactly the direction I was expecting someone to go in, and they, again, just had like a vibe that I wasn't necessarily looking for. But that's not to say any of these people weren't a pleasure to work with, because I want you all to know all of these guys were very responsive and super attentive throughout the process, and I definitely would recommend reaching out to any of them to try and make something if you have something in mind as well. So with that being said, be sure to let me know what you guys think in the comments section below. I appreciate y'all watching. Keep an eye out for another upload this coming Sunday, trying to be on top of it. And I hope y'all have a great rest of your day. Y'all take it easy. Peace.
Bro, that's what I do.
Got that in.
It was a little bit of a drag scope.
Oh man, they enacted a curfew in my city from all the rioting now.
Really?
Yeah.
What time do you have to go to bed?
I think the governor said if I'm not asleep by 8, I'm in trouble, so. What is up?
Slugs.